moments on stage that last only a few seconds, yet somehow leave the deepest impression on everyone watching. And this time, the looks and little touches between Taehyung and Jungkook truly made many ARMYs unable to stop talking about them. Because honestly, if this was just a coincidence, then why did it feel so warm, so natural, and so sweet to ignore? Hello, K-pop lovers! Welcome back to Taekook Diary, the place where we share heartwarming moments, exciting stories, and sweet interactions between Taehyung and Jungkook that always make ARMY smile. In the world of K-pop concerts, filled with dazzling lights, loud cheers, and incredible stage energy, there is one small thing that often steals the most attention: the way two people look at each other. Not because they have to, not because the camera is focused on them, but because the moment happens so naturally. And that is exactly what many ARMYs felt when they saw Taehyung and Jungkook's interaction at this concert. In the middle of the glowing stage lights and a sea of fans, the two of them were seen glancing at each other several times, giving soft smiles, and moving closer as if there was a silent language that only they understood. It was not something over the top, but that is exactly why it felt even more real. Fans immediately noticed one thing: there was a warmth between them that did not feel forced at all. And that is where it all began, from one small glance that managed to shake the entire fandom. What made this moment feel even more special was not just the fact that Taehyung and Jungkook were on the same stage, but the way they carried each other's energy. When one moved, the other seemed to adjust almost automatically. When one smiled, the other's expression seemed to soften as well. There was a kind of synchronization that is hard to explain in words, but very easy to feel. Many ARMYs noticed how Jungkook briefly turned to look at Taehyung with such a gentle expression, as if he was making sure of the presence of the person beside him. Then Taehyung responded with a calm but meaningful look that instantly made the atmosphere feel even more emotional. This was not only about who looked at whom, but about how one tiny second could carry so many feelings. And yes, maybe because the moment was so short, many people felt it was even more sincere than anything that could ever be deliberately shown to the camera. Then came the part that made many ARMYs even more emotional: the little touch that looked so spontaneous. In a concert, physical contact between members is not unusual at all. But when that touch happens during a quiet moment, when their facial expressions are clearly visible, and when their reactions feel so soft, the whole atmosphere changes instantly. There was a light gesture, a closeness that felt so natural, and a warmth that was impossible for the audience not to feel. Some fans even said that what made them emotional was not how big or small the touch was, but how comfortable Taehyung and Jungkook seemed with each other. There was no awkwardness, no forced feeling, and nothing exaggerated. It was just simple, and yet it managed to say so much. And maybe that is exactly why this moment felt so sweet. Because sometimes, the things that touch our hearts the most are not the grand gestures, but the small acts of care that happen without any planning at all. What made it even more interesting was that the emotional atmosphere did not stop at just one moment. Throughout the concert, the aura between them kept appearing in little ways that made ARMY even more curious. Sometimes it was in the way they stood close to each other. Sometimes it was in the smile that appeared after they looked at one another. Sometimes it was even in the shy expression that showed up for just a split second after the interaction happened. And you already know, it is exactly these tiny details that ARMY notice the fastest. Fans know their expressions so well, the way they react, and even the smallest changes in their body language. So when Taehyung looked softer than usual, and Jungkook seemed so comfortable being near him, many people felt that this concert gave off something different. It was not loud excitement, but a quiet sweetness that hit straight in the heart. And honestly, that is what made it even more unforgettable. So many moments on stage pass by in the blink of an eye, but interactions like this have a strange power. The more you think about them, the more emotional they feel. After the concert ended, short clips of their moments immediately spread everywhere and were talked about non-stop. ARMY started replaying the videos, slowing them down, paying attention to every little detail in their eye contact, and sharing their thoughts about what they felt while watching. And interestingly, so many people were saying the same thing: the moment felt warm. It did not feel like simple fan service. It did not feel like just another random stage interaction. Instead, it felt like a moment that carried comfort and closeness built over a very long time. Taehyung and Jungkook have always had a very unique dynamic, and every time they show small interactions like this, the fandom instantly feels that there is emotional depth behind it. That is why one glance can feel so powerful, one touch can feel so long, and one tiny second can become the topic of conversation for days. If we really think about it, maybe this is the reason why so many people are always drawn to Taekook moments. It is not only because of their visuals, their chemistry, or their popularity, but because there is something deeply human about them. In the middle of an entertainment world that moves so fast and is constantly under the spotlight, small sincere interactions feel the most precious. When Taehyung looks at Jungkook in that calm, gentle way, or when Jungkook responds with a tiny smile that is almost impossible to catch, ARMY feels that comfort too. It feels like watching two people who understand each other without needing too many words. And for fans, moments like this are not just entertainment. They are part of the reason why people continue following BTS's journey with so much love. Because behind the huge performances and massive stages, there are always tiny details that reach straight into the heart. And this concert truly felt full of those details. The more people replayed that moment, the clearer it became that the real power was in the sincerity of their expressions. There was no big dialogue, no confession, and no dramatic scene created on purpose. There were only looks, a closeness that felt undeniable, and a light touch that somehow made the whole atmosphere feel incredibly sweet. And maybe because everything felt so soft, ARMY became even more emotional. Many said they could feel affection, care, and comfort from just a few seconds of that interaction. Will everyone interpret it in exactly the same way? Of course not. But one thing that is hard to deny is how beautiful their dynamic looked on stage that night. There was a softness that felt comforting, a warmth that felt genuine, and a chemistry that once again proved why every little moment between them always leaves such a big mark on the hearts of those watching. In the end, maybe that is exactly what made this concert so unforgettable for many ARMYs. It was not only because the performance itself was amazing, but because in the middle of all that greatness, there was a small moment between Taehyung and Jungkook that felt so honest, so sweet, and so impossible to forget. Their looks seemed to say more than words ever could, and their little touches felt enough to fill an entire arena with emotion. And now, I want to ask you this: which Taekook moment made you the most emotional this time? Was it their eye contact, their small touch, or maybe the shy expressions that came right after? Write your thoughts in the comments, because I am really curious to read your theories and feelings. And do not forget to like this video if you smiled while watching their sweet moment, subscribe to Taekook Diary for more Taekook stories, and share this video with fellow ARMYs so we can all fangirl together in the comments.